All right, let's dive into one of the most electrifying and honestly, one of the most misunderstood books in all of philosophy, Nietzsche's Thus Spoke Zarathustra. Now, I know it can be a pretty dense read, but I promise you, what's inside is this incredibly powerful message about unlocking our human potential. So, let's get right into it. Yeah, this is not your typical philosophy book. This quote just nails it. It's this wild fusion of poetry, myth, psychology, all with this, fiery volcanic energy that's really designed to shake you up. Think of it less like a dry lecture and more like poetic thunder.
But, okay, beyond the wild style and the epic language, what is Nietzsche actually saying? What are these huge earth-shattering ideas that are still challenging and inspiring people more than a century later? Let's break it all down.
So it all kicks off with his most famous and definitely most misunderstood statement. And look, this isn't a celebration, it's not an attack. For Nietzsche, it was simply a diagnosis of the world he saw around him.
When Nietzsche says God is dead, he's not fist-pumping. It's a diagnosis. What he's really saying is that the central, absolute source of meaning and morality, the thing that guided Western civilization for centuries, has lost its power. That shared foundation of values has crumbled, and it's left us all standing in this giant void.
But here's the big twist. For Nietzsche, this isn't a tragedy at all. It's actually a massive opportunity. He's not saying we should just give up and despair in this new, groundless world. He's saying, guess what? We're finally free. That safety rope we thought we were clinging to, it was an illusion the whole time. And now we finally have the chance to learn to walk on our own 2 feet.
So how do you learn to walk in this new world, right? You're faced with this void. How do you even move forward? Well, Nietzsche gives us this incredible metaphor for the journey of self-creation. He calls it the 3 metamorphoses of the spirit.
He breaks it down into 3 stages. First, we're like the camel, just dutifully carrying the weight of tradition and all of society's values on our back. Then we have to become the lion, the rebel who roars no to external authority and carves out a space for freedom. But just tearing down old values isn't enough. You have to create new ones. So the final goal is to become the child, innocent, creative, able to build our own meaning with this joyful, powerful yes to life.
And this whole transformation, from camel to lion to child, it's not just a nice little story. It's a kind of practical guide. And Nietzsche gives us the concepts we need to really understand this incredible act of creation.
The goal of this whole journey is what he calls the Übermensch, or the Overman. Now we have to be really clear here. This concept has been horribly misinterpreted. It has nothing to do with a master race. That was a tragic distortion by later political movements. For Nietzsche, the Übermensch was about a state of being, an individual leap in consciousness where a person overcomes their old self and becomes the powerful creator of their own values.
And the engine driving this whole transformation is what Nietzsche calls the will to power. And again, you got to forget the toxic idea of dominating other people. That's not it at all. Think of it as an internal force, this fundamental drive inside all living things to grow, to expand, to become more. It's that unstoppable energy that pushes a tiny plant right through the soil to reach the sun. It's about self-mastery, about realizing your full potential.
So Nietzsche basically presents humanity with this very stark choice. On one side, you have the Übermensch, the creator who embraces risk for the sake of growth. And on the other side, you have the last human. This is a person who only seeks comfort, safety, and the path of least resistance. For Nietzsche, the biggest danger facing us was a world that just avoids all greatness in favor of a comfortable but ultimately meaningless existence.
And this all brings us to what I think is Nietzsche's most profound and deeply personal challenge. He offers up a thought experiment, a test, really, to see if you are truly living a life of your own creation.
He calls it the eternal recurrence. So imagine this. A demon sneaks into your room one night and whispers in your ear that this exact life you are living right now, with all its joy, all its pain, its boredom, its triumphs, every single little detail, you're going to have to live it again and again and again, countless times, in the exact same sequence, forever. So the question is, how would you react? Would you be horrified? Or could you embrace your existence so completely, so fully, that you could joyfully shout back, yes, bring it on again? I mean, that is the ultimate affirmation of life, to love your fate, even the hardest parts.
So when you put all of these pieces together, the death of God, the 3 metamorphoses, the Übermensch, and this idea of eternal recurrence, a really clear and pretty radical picture starts to emerge.
So what's the core message? What's the bottom line? Basically, the old rules are gone. It's now up to us to reinvent what it even means to be human. Life isn't something you just get through, something you endure, it's something to be passionately affirmed. And Nietzsche believed our potential is just so much greater than we can even imagine.
Ultimately, Nietzsche isn't here to give us a final answer. He's showing us that being human is a constant process of becoming, of building, of creating. It's a project that is never ever truly finished.
Which in the end leaves us with the exact same question that Zarathustra poses to his audience and now to us. In a world without those ready-made answers, without a fixed safety rope, what kind of human do we actually want to be? That's the challenge, and that's the question Nietzsche leaves for every single one of us to answer for ourselves.